1 spoonful of baking soda sprinkled into your aloe vera's pot can quietly poison the soil with sodium, lock out the nutrients your plant needs, and leave you wondering why a plant famous for surviving neglect suddenly can't handle anything at all. And the scary part is, the damage doesn't show up right away. Stick around, because by the end of this you'll know exactly why this happens, what to do if you've already tried it, and I share tips like this every single week, so follow along if you don't want to miss the next one. Here's a scene you might recognize. Someone mentioned baking soda is great for plants, maybe as a natural pest control, maybe as a soil freshener. So you tried a spoonful in your aloe vera's pot. At first, nothing seems to happen. Then, a few weeks later, things shift. The leaf tips start browning and drying out, even though you haven't changed your watering routine. The lower leaves look slightly shriveled, almost dehydrated, despite the soil feeling damp. And new growth, when it appears at all, looks stunted compared to what this plant used to produce. This confuses a lot of aloe vera owners because this plant has a reputation for being nearly indestructible. It survives drought, low light, inconsistent watering. So when it suddenly starts struggling after adding something as ordinary as baking soda, people assume it must be a coincidence, or a watering issue, or pests. Rarely does anyone connect it back to that spoonful of white powder from weeks earlier. Here's the simple version of what's actually going on. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate. That first part, sodium, is the problem. Aloe vera, like most succulents, is genuinely sensitive to sodium buildup in soil. Unlike some nutrients plants can use in small amounts, sodium isn't something aloe vera needs at all. It just accumulates. Think of your aloe vera's roots like a set of tiny water pumps, constantly working to pull moisture and nutrients out of the soil. Sodium interferes with that pumping system. It competes with essential nutrients like potassium and calcium for the same absorption pathways in the root, meaning even if those nutrients are present in the soil, the roots have a harder time taking them in. It's like two people trying to fit through the same narrow doorway at once. Sodium tends to shove its way through, while potassium and calcium get left behind. On top of that, sodium buildup around the roots creates something called osmotic stress. In simple terms, high concentrations of salt in the soil actually pull moisture out of root cells instead of letting the roots absorb water normally. So a plant sitting in slightly salty soil can show signs of dehydration, dry leaf tips, shriveled lower leaves, even when the soil itself is perfectly moist. That's exactly the confusing symptom pattern most aloe vera owners report. There's a second issue too. Baking soda is alkaline with a pH well above neutral. Add enough of it to soil repeatedly, and you gradually raise the soil's pH. Aloe vera prefers slightly acidic to neutral soil, generally in the range gardening guides describe as 6 to 7 on the pH scale. Push that pH higher, and certain nutrients, particularly iron and manganese, become chemically locked in a form roots can't absorb, even though they're technically still present in the soil. This is a separate cause of the same pale, stressed appearance a sodium imbalance produces, which is part of why the whole picture gets so confusing. So here's the part that surprises most people. There isn't really a version of this that works. Baking soda applied directly to aloe vera's soil isn't a hidden trick or an underused remedy. It's simply not something this plant benefits from, and repeated or heavy applications actively work against it. That said, baking soda does have one legitimate, very different use around plants, and it's worth understanding the distinction. Diluted baking soda, mixed at a very specific low concentration and sprayed on leaves rather than poured into soil, has long been used as a mild home remedy against powdery mildew, a common fungal issue that shows up as a white, dusty coating on leaves. This works because the alkaline environment on the leaf surface makes it harder for certain fungal spores to establish themselves. But this is a foliar spray, applied to leaves in very small diluted amounts, and it is a completely different application than dumping a spoonful into the pot. If you do want to try this for an actual powdery mildew issue on aloe vera or any other houseplant, here's exactly how to do it correctly and how to avoid the soil-based mistake entirely. Mix 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda into 1 quart of water. That's a much smaller ratio than most people assume, and going stronger doesn't improve results, it just increases the risk of leaf damage. Add a small drop of mild liquid soap, which helps the solution stick to the leaf surface instead of beading off. Using a spray bottle, mist the leaves lightly, focusing on any areas showing the white powdery coating. Avoid soaking the leaves completely. A light, even mist is enough. Do this early in the morning or in the evening, never in direct, harsh sunlight, since wet leaves under strong sun can develop leaf burn. Repeat this once every 7 to 10 days if mildew is present, and stop entirely once the mildew clears up. Do not use this as a regular preventive spray on a schedule, since repeated alkaline exposure on the leaf surface, even diluted, can still cause stress over time. Never pour any amount of baking soda mixture, diluted or not, directly into the soil or at the base of the plant. The soil is exactly where sodium accumulation becomes a long-term problem, since it has nowhere to go and simply builds up with every application. Leaves can tolerate a light occasional misting far better than roots can tolerate sodium buildup. This method, even in its correct diluted spray form, is best used sparingly on any succulent, and aloe vera specifically is one of the more sensitive types when it comes to sodium and pH shifts, since its root system evolved for lean, well-draining, mildly acidic desert soils. Not amendments at all. Let's go a little deeper into the biology here because it explains why succulents in particular react so strongly to this. Aloe vera stores most of its water inside thick, gel-filled leaves, which it built specifically to survive long stretches without rainfall. That water storage strategy depends on a very efficient, low-effort root system, one that isn't built to filter out excess salts the way some other plants can. Many desert-adapted plants have this same vulnerability. They're excellent at conserving water, but comparatively poor at tolerating salt or sodium buildup in the surrounding soil. Sodium ions, once present in soil, don't break down or disappear the way organic matter does. They stay in the soil until they're either flushed out with enough water passing through the drainage holes, or they continue accumulating with every additional application. This is why a single small dose of baking soda might not cause visible harm, but repeated applications create a compounding problem, since each dose adds to whatever sodium was already sitting in the pot from before. The interference with calcium absorption is particularly relevant for aloe vera, since calcium plays a structural role in cell walls throughout the plant, including in those thick, water-storing leaves. When calcium uptake is disrupted, new growth can appear weaker or more prone to collapsing or shriveling, which lines up with the stunted new growth many owners report after using baking soda in the soil. The pH shift compounds all of this. Micronutrients like iron become progressively less available to roots as soil pH climbs above roughly 7.5. Since iron is essential for chlorophyll production, this shows up as pale, yellowish new growth, even in a plant that's otherwise been getting consistent light and water. A few companion habits will help keep your aloe vera genuinely healthy, alongside simply skipping the baking soda. First, use a well-draining succulent or cactus-specific potting mix rather than standard potting soil. These blends are formulated with more sand, perlite, or pumice, which prevents water and any dissolved salts from sitting around the roots for extended periods. Second, if you're growing aloe vera in an area with hard tap water, which often carries its own dissolved mineral and salt content, consider flushing the pot thoroughly with plain water every couple of months. Run water through the soil until it drains freely from the bottom, which helps carry accumulated salts out through the drainage holes rather than letting them build up indefinitely. And here's what not to do. Don't reach for random household powders as plant remedies without confirming they're actually meant for soil application. Cinnamon, baking soda, table salt, and similar kitchen staples circulate constantly in gardening folklore, but very few of them are genuinely beneficial when added directly to soil, and several, sodium-based ones especially, can cause the exact kind of slow, compounding damage described here. So what should you expect if you've already added baking soda to your aloe vera soil and you stop now? In the first 1 to 2 weeks after you stop and start flushing the soil with plain water, you likely won't see dramatic improvement yet, since sodium doesn't clear from soil instantly. What you should notice is that things stop getting worse. No new browning tips, no additional shriveling on newer leaves. By 3 to 4 weeks of consistent flushing and switching to a proper succulent mix if needed, existing stress symptoms often start to stabilize, and any new leaves emerging during this period should look noticeably healthier than the ones that grew while sodium levels were elevated. By 6 to 8 weeks, most aloe vera plants show a fairly clear recovery, assuming the sodium exposure wasn't severe or prolonged. If you're past that point with zero improvement, check for root rot instead, since aloe vera in poorly draining soil can show strikingly similar symptoms, and that's a far more common underlying issue than lingering sodium at that stage. So here's the one thing to remember. Baking soda doesn't help aloe vera when added to soil. It introduces sodium the plant can't use and gradually shifts pH in a direction that locks out nutrients it actually needs. If your aloe vera has been looking stressed after trying this, flush the soil, switch to a well-draining succulent mix, and give it a few weeks to bounce back. Drop a comment letting me know what your aloe vera is dealing with right now. I read every single one, and it helps me figure out what to cover next. And if you know someone who just tried the baking soda trick on their succulents, send this their way before they add a second spoonful. Follow along for more of this, because next time I'm breaking down the one watering habit that's quietly rotting more succulent roots than anything else combined.